ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
I don't think they're gonna buy it. I don't think they're gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna like it.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. And it's pretty hysterical actually to watch.
There's no way that Snow White is going to recover.
Every single one of these reviews is just absolutely brutal. And what you also need to know is that these are not politically driven reviews. I mean, most of them are from the camp that should be supporting Disney, that should be behind this new progressive take on Snow White, and yet they can't because the film is apparently just that bad.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth dope.
We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist who's just clinical at this point.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
DC said Disney Snow White has a major identity crisis.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you, that hates everything America stands for.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all of this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
So now, word's spreading fast. Rachel Zegler reportedly had a full-blown meltdown after learning the Minecraft movie's opening numbers completely crushed Snow White at the box office. And yes, Disney basically set itself on fire and handed the crown to a bunch of pixelated blocks. That's right. While Disney tries to hype up its shaky live-action Snow White, the Minecraft movie came charging in and bulldozed the competition, leaving the Mouse House looking like it just dropped a low-budget web parody instead of a $270 million production disaster.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
Critics were convinced Minecraft would be a total flop. They called it too basic, too childish, too blocky to make any real splash at the box office. But guess what? They were dead wrong. The movie exploded with a jaw-dropping $300 million global opening, completely obliterating every so-called expert prediction and making the naysayers look ridiculous. Meanwhile, Snow White barely limped to $77 million, and that was after weeks in theaters. That's right, weeks. Even with Disney's bloated marketing blitz and nonstop hype, the movie flopped so hard, it's like they want us to erase it from our memory. It's that bad. But here's the real sting. Disney bet everything on nostalgia. They ignored fan concerns, waved off red flags, and figured slapping a classic title on it would be enough. Spoiler, it wasn't. Turns out, disrespecting your own fairy tale isn't the magic ticket to box office gold. And that's only the beginning. Up next, total boardroom chaos, behind-the-scenes finger-pointing, and a lead actress who somehow forgot she's playing one of the most legendary roles in movie history. Buckle up. This meltdown's far from over.
Turned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
Now let's talk about Rachel Zegler, the lightning rod at the center of this ongoing Hollywood storm. Somehow, Disney thought it was a brilliant idea to cast a newcomer who immediately started criticizing the very story she was hired to bring to life. And not just any story. The original Snow White, the film that put Walt Disney on the map, launched an animation empire, and remains a beloved global classic to this day. But Zegler called it too old-fashioned. Really? Great job, Disney. You handed one of your most sacred roles to someone who treated the source material like outdated baggage. According to wave after wave of fan backlash online, Zegler didn't just star in the remake, she hijacked it. What was supposed to be a magical fairy tale became, in the eyes of many, a lecture. During press appearances, she openly criticized the original tale for having themes she saw as outdated, and fans weren't having it.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
As if audiences were lining up to get a lecture instead of a fairy tale. Imagine being excited for a faithful reimagining of Snow White, only to hear the lead actress mock everything you grew up loving. What a brilliant strategy. Now, to be fair, Zegler didn't tank the entire film single-handedly, but her tone-deaf remarks? They were a major part of the backlash. You'd think Disney would have stepped in, maybe coached her with some PR advice or helped her stay on message, but nope. They let her run wild, talking non-stop about how the original Snow White needed fixing. Well, surprise Disney. Fans don't want their childhood classics corrected by someone who seems more interested in rewriting history than respecting it. And the result? A sea of empty seats and an audience that responded with silence, not applause.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
Disney's management stayed eerily silent, just watching the chaos unfold, as if they had no clue why fans were so outraged. This is the same studio that once ruled the world of family entertainment. Now, it feels more like that out-of-touch relative who shows up at the party, brags about the glory days, and then tries to force kale smoothies on guests who just want a slice of cake. Sure, a bit of modernization isn't a bad thing, but let's be real. When Disney rewrites its classics so aggressively that they're barely recognizable, it's clear they've completely lost the plot.
Since you had the marketing material not being all that good, a lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film, and to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material, which upset a lot of fans.
According to insider leaks, the Snow White train wreck was doomed from the start. Numerous script rewrites, each more ham-fisted than the last, kept piling on contemporary messages. They were so busy patting themselves on the back for being progressive that they forgot the one thing that makes or breaks a movie, an actual story that audiences care about. Instead of preserving the fairy tale charm, they shoved in political undertones so blatant, they might as well have put campaign posters in the background.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours.
And oh, it gets so much worse, but before we dive deeper into this disaster, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because let's be real, unlike Rachel Zegler, I actually know I'm nothing without your support. Now back to the tea. The handful of fans who caught early screenings allegedly came out warning that the film felt more like a lifeless lecture than a magical adventure. So how did Disney react? By doubling down on the lectures, now they're stuck with the fallout, an embarrassing box office flop and a very public black eye. But hey, at least they can pat themselves on the back for being forward-thinking, right? Meanwhile, while Disney was busy shooting itself in the foot, the Minecraft movie was busy printing money, rolling in cash like it hit creative gold with a bunch of pixelated blocks.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. Minecraft movie was a big winner, debut weekend, $300 million.
Critics rolled their eyes, calling it just another throwaway video game adaptation. What they failed to grasp? Minecraft has a fan base that spans generations. Kids tapping away on tablets, teens streaming epic builds on YouTube, and adults who've been crafting blocky empires since the game's earliest days. Turns out, delivering a fun, lighthearted, non-political adventure that respects its audience is actually a winning formula. Who would have thought?
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform, it is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be.
The theaters were packed. Some screenings were so loud and chaotic, it felt more like a rock concert than a movie. Kids were cheering, laughing, and losing their minds. And in a few places, things got so wild that the cops actually had to step in and escort some overhyped fans out of the theater for having way too much fun.
Okay, and the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like a kinetic movement.
And guess who's leading the charge in the voice cast? Jack Black. Sure, he's had his share of controversial moments over the years, but when it comes to delivering wild, hilarious energy that packs theaters, the man knows exactly what he's doing. Audiences instantly connected with the movie's playful, high-energy tone, praising it for capturing the true spirit of the game. You know, something Disney might have wanted to consider when they butchered Snow White. And the best part? While critics gave it a measly 40% on the review sites, actual audiences fired back with a massive 87%. Talk about a disconnect.
You can see here the Minecraft movie is 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience score. That's kind of all that matters because these people pay the bills, these people don't.
Who's out of touch now? This is exactly what happens when studio execs stop grandstanding and actually let creators focus on telling fun, entertaining stories. Critics can whine all day long, but the paying audience just made themselves heard loud and clear. And guess what? Their wallets speak louder than any self-important film review. It's 2025, and Hollywood's just now realizing that preachy politics don't exactly fill theater seats. Look, audiences aren't allergic to social commentary. They just don't want it delivered with the subtlety of a wrecking ball. And yet, major studios keep cranking out these moral of the week films and then act shocked when nobody shows up. Snow White is just the latest victim in a long line of misguided reboots. Instead of trusting the classic fairy tale formula that's worked for nearly a century, Disney decided to fix it. The irony? The original already had messages of courage, friendship, and hope. Everything audiences love, but no, the studio aimed to please the Twitter crowd instead. And the gamble blew up in their faces. Now they're left holding a bloated multi-million-dollar lecture that fans found exhausting and totally unwatchable.
This movie exists, by the way. You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right. Minecraft movies are going to make more in the weekend than Snow White's made in its entire theatrical run, and we know why.
On the flip side, Minecraft soared for one simple reason. It didn't lecture its audience. It respected fans enough to just deliver what they came for. Pure, escapist fun. Want to see pixelated zombies chasing your favorite blocky hero? Boom, you got it. Craving a feel-good adventure the whole family can enjoy? Done. No preachy messaging, no awkward rewrites, just fun. And surprise, surprise. That's exactly why it's raking in the cash. So what's the takeaway? Hammering in heavy-handed messaging doesn't bring crowds. It drives them away.
Teens in suits shouting lines, cheering like it was a concert. Check out the energy, unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White, it would have made $1 billion.
Now let's circle back to the headliner of this whole meltdown, Rachel Zegler, who's quickly becoming the poster child for how not to promote a blockbuster. Is that entirely fair? Maybe not. She's not the one writing the scripts or calling the executive shots behind the scenes. But let's be honest, she made for a very convenient scapegoat. And her nonstop commentary, that was the cherry on top, giving Disney the perfect excuse to let her soak up the blame while the studio quietly backed away from the flames.
The reason why is partially because of Rachel Zegler, but also because of the entire garbage movie itself. We keep blaming Rachel Zegler, and she's an easy scapegoat. And I think they're scapegoating her on purpose. But the entire movie was trash. All of Rachel Zegler didn't write Snow White. Right? Rachel Zegler didn't cast Snow White. The studio did. It's a Disney problem. Disney did these things.
Insiders are whispering about chaos erupting behind the polished walls of Disney HQ. Boardroom battles, finger-pointing execs, and mounting frustration over the Snow White disaster. Some higher-ups are reportedly furious that Rachel Zegler's pre-release interviews completely tanked fan goodwill. Others insist the real mistake was letting her anywhere near a microphone after the first round of PR explosions. Either way, the blame game is on, and it's nuclear. And what's Zegler doing? Doubling down on the modernization narrative, preaching to an audience that clearly isn't buying what she's selling. Let's not forget the casting controversy. A Colombian-American actress in the role of a character famously described as having skin white as snow. Disney called it a win for inclusivity. Traditionalists, on the other hand, saw it as a direct slap to the original lore. Whether you're for it or not, one thing's certain, that casting debate swallowed up every other conversation the film might have sparked. And for a studio known for ironclad brand control, this was a rookie-level PR meltdown. It'd be easy to chalk Snow White up as a one-off misfire. But fans are connecting the dots and seeing a pattern. The box office doesn't lie. Disney has been dropping one underwhelming live-action remake after another. Some tanked thanks to controversy, others were just too bland to leave a mark. But this time, they messed with a sacred classic, slapped on a forced ideological filter, and let an inexperienced star dominate the press circuit without a leash. To make matters worse, a Hollywood insider claims tensions inside Disney are boiling over. Executives are reportedly furious with the marketing team for not shifting gears when backlash to the casting first popped up. Meanwhile, the scriptwriters are catching heat for allegedly ignoring early test audience feedback. Caught in the center of this implosion, Disney's once bulletproof brand, now looking clumsy, reactionary, and out of touch. It's almost laughable. A billion-dollar empire undone by its own arrogance. Snow White was supposed to be a guaranteed win, but instead of trusting a story that's worked for nearly a century, they tried to fix it, and it blew up in their faces. And here's the kicker. While Disney was unraveling, Minecraft, a pixel art game turned movie, was out there crushing the box office. A film based on blocky characters, with no lectures, just pure, chaotic fun. And it's making hundreds of millions. You seriously can't make this up. The message from audiences is ringing loud and clear. They want to enjoy movies again, not sit through a morality play. Minecraft delivered exactly that. And ironically, the bad critic reviews only made people more curious, pushing more butts into seats. Meanwhile, Disney is left licking its wounds and wondering how they managed to fumble something as simple as Snow White. And now, everyone's asking, where does Disney go from here? Will they keep rewriting their classics into preachy, lifeless lectures? Or will they finally get the message fans have been shouting from the rooftops? Respect the source material and stop talking down to the people paying for tickets. As for Rachel Zegler, who knows what her next move will be? Maybe she'll bounce back in a project that doesn't treat a beloved legacy like a dusty relic. Or maybe she'll double down, playing the misunderstood heroine in a saga where fans clearly cast her as the villain. Either way, one thing's certain, the people have spoken. They're not here for lectures. They're here for storytelling that remembers how to entertain, not preach. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take on this wild ride. And don't forget to subscribe if you want the real scoop behind the Hollywood headlines. We're not done digging up the truth the mainstream outlets keep dodging, because if the Snow White vs. Minecraft box office smackdown proved anything, it's this. Woke is broke at the box office. And this time, it was the audience who pulled the plug. Until next time, stay tuned, stay sharp, and stay loud.